What it is, y'all, it's your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming back today with more Dokkan. Now, we haven't talked about burst mode in a little bit of time, and honestly, my goal with this is always to build a team that I can just auto-run. Mostly because I'm lazy, but also because I'm lazy. So, I really go into this, and I think, what's the best team that's really going to get the job done as... It doesn't have to be fast. That's the thing with burst mode. It's not a speed target for me. It's a laziness target. Can I set my phone down and an hour later pick it up and go, cool, I got some rewards. So what I've done today is I've actually sat down and I've looked at the teams and kind of surmised what might be plausible for a legitimate, feasible team. And as much as I would love to say the androids would be a good fit, I think Time Limit is a way better fit for this event. Tech and Strength. Now, here's the thing you have to remember. Tech is at a massive, massive disadvantage. Because when you go into the Super Saiyan 3 phase, Gotenks is going to be Int. So your tech units are going to get annihilated. But there might be a way around this. So, that got me thinking. Now, obviously, I would love to get some extra points here with a 400 team cost or less, but I'm going to go 450. And I pretty much always go 450 because that's the level at which you can have at least 2 LRs on your team, and that's going to give us some more defenses and a lot of more capability. So really, this is all kind of lining up exactly how I pretty much always do burst mode. Like, this is almost identical to what I do every single time. Now, as I come down here, I start looking at things. I go, enemy can nullify super attack sealing effects. Whatever, I'm not sealing anyway. Enemy is immune to stunning. I'm not stunning anyway. Enemy can nullify attack reduction. That one gets dicey, but I'm not overly concerned about it. Enemy can nullify defense reduction. Whatever, that's irrelevant anyway. It's not irrelevant, but it doesn't do as much as it used to. Enemy can reduce damage received from AGL units. Notice I'm only using tech and strength. Why not? Yeah, cool. So that's some easy, quick points. Then I come down here. Enemy's attack is raised by 150% and defense raised by 200%. Now that's the one that bites a bit hard because that means if we take a hit, we take major damage. They simply don't take damage from us very well, but if I'm completely honest here, that is fine. I'm not worried about that at all. And the main reason I'm not worried about that is because, like I said before, speed isn't a factor. This could take 200 turns for all I care. All I want to do is be able to set my phone down and let the event go to town. Okay? Enemy can reduce damage by 15%. 15% ain't much. That's worth the 100 points to me. Now, you've got all these right here. The challenges, enemy's attack raised by 100%. I don't like doing that only because that is going to make your turns so much harder than they have to be. You're not going to be able to auto-run that. In fact, you're going to have a hell of a time with that just in general. Basically, you take one SA and you're toast. And the fact that it's only raising by 10 points each really does not make that worthwhile at all. Now, if we come down here, enemy's attack raised by 200%. Okay? I hit 150%, and actually I could just almost take that completely off. But if I was going to do that, what I'd do is I would actually remove this first. And that takes us down to 5410. But I'm going to keep that on for now because that keeps us at that magical 6,000 point stage. Okay? Already still pretty good. Now, we could do 200%. Wouldn't be the worst thing ever. But remember, every single time that your opponent hits, they're going to be hitting harder and harder and harder. So I want to nullify as much of that as I possibly can. So let's go a little further down here. Enemy's defense raised by blah, blah, blah. Honestly, that's not a bad way to make up some space. Because remember, once again, it doesn't matter how much they're increasing their defense. Because you're whittling away at their health. It doesn't matter if this takes 200 turns. It really does not matter one bit how many turns it takes. That right there is literally just going to cause you to take more time. So we could utilize that. I just didn't because right now I'm at 6,000 points that I don't need to. Okay. Enemy's HP raised by 200 and you could do that twice. Doesn't really matter. If I needed to make up some points, I could, but here we go. Enemy's HP raised by 700%. Once again, what does it matter? because this could take hundreds of turns, and it's not going to make a difference. All I care is that we eventually beat it. So really, the enemy's attack is really a much more frightening option. Now, here's where we get to the no-brainers. Okay? So, locks the attack order of a character. If I'm going to auto-run this, what do I care? They're not going to change anyway. Easy 100 points. Now, I don't do key spheres. And the main reason I don't do key spheres is because I need my people on my team to be able to use their SAs as much as possible. So I don't use that ever. But I'm not using sport items. I'm not using sport memories. Because, once again, we're simply just going to auto-run this. Now, the goal here, before I get to team formation, the goal here with this, if I go to my missions and I go to burst mode, and let's go all the way down to the bottom here, it's going to say clear stage 4 with a score of 5,500 or higher. That gets us all our Dragonstones. Now, if I do stage 4 at 6,000 or higher, that'll get me an Elder Kai. But I don't need Elder Kais. I'm not thirsty for Elder Kais. So I really only need 5,500. So what I can do is I can actually go down here and take this off. Attack and defense raised by 200. Attack raised by 150%. Defense raised by 200%. That's 600 points I just saved myself. And then I just need 90 points. So I can actually just go back in here. Raise enemies' defense by 50%. And raise their HP by a little bit there. That just means I need 10 more points, and where could I find 10 points? I'm sure I could find 10 points somewhere real quickly. You know, I don't want to raise anything else. Where could I find 10 points? I'm sure I've got 10 points here, just chilling. Enemy can reduce damage lower than 50, so let's do that, okay? And let's actually just get rid of those. So there we go. Now we've got 5,500. So, what are we going to do for a team? Well, team formation. We already know we can only use tech and strength, and we're using the time limit team. So let's go ahead and clear this out and start planning this out. Number 1. These guys do time limited connected hope, but these guys do Power Beyond Super Saiyan and movie heroes. So I think everyone I'm going to use on here is Power Beyond Super Saiyan. Are they Power Beyond Super Saiyan? They are not. Okay. Well, they are Power Beyond Super Saiyan. So, yeah. So I can use that. So they're Power Beyond Super Saiyan. They are movie heroes. They'll be good to go. This guy should easily be Power Beyond Super Saiyan. Yep, Power Beyond Super Saiyan. Okay. I'm going to use him. I don't use him a lot, but Power Beyond Super Saiyan. There we go. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta should easily be Power Beyond Super Saiyan. There we go. We already checked them. There's our team. Easy peasy. Okay? So let's confirm that team. Now, the other thing to consider here, and the one thing I didn't show you, is that if I go over here, I've also marked Raise Defense. So every unit here is going to raise defense on SA. That's an important factor. And I didn't show you that in the beginning because I wanted to kind of, hone my responses and hone my results. If I take that off, we get a huge number of responses. But this really limits my options. Every single unit here is going to raise their defense on SA. Now, some of them, and I think actually the Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks is the only one that really doesn't do it indefinitely, but does it for 6 turns. So that becomes very handy. And actually, I think this one does it too. Let's see. SA raises attack and defense. No, he does it for indefinitely for 99 turns. After 99 turns, who cares? So even if they do it for like 1 turn, then what we need to do is we need to make sure we put enough skill orbs in there that we get their SA up, or their SA numbers up, so that they're doing multiple super attacks and nullifying that on the next turn. So basically what we've done is we set this up so that by the time that we get into that final battle with the Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, our defenses are going to be at their highest possible mark. The only downside is because we're auto-running this, we don't have any control over when we get active skills and things like that. But let's give it a shot, okay? Let's see what happens here. I may decide that I need to cut it to the end just so you guys aren't bored senseless, because this is going to take forever and a day. But these are things you kind of want to look at. If you're someone like me who doesn't have an insane amount of time just to sit down and to formulate teams and all this stuff, really think about what's going to make your life simple. And that's what I'm about in this situation. Well, ultimately, yes, there is a laziness factor to it. It's more a matter of simplicity and what's going to make my life easier. Okay? Notice that our Super Saiyan Blue over here did not get full orbs, and that is unfortunate. I probably could have manipulated it a bit, but once again, we're just going to kind of let the numbers run. And already they look like they're doing all right. We're not taking any excess damage here, but in fairness, they all have type advantage. It's when they have disadvantage that it kind of becomes a little scary. Oh, okay, he's getting an SA anyway. Let's go. Okay, SA number 1, 1.5 mil. Nothing to write home about. And honestly, this guy really isn't amazing by anyone's definition. Even after his EZA, he's just kind of I mean, at best but he does produce a lot of SAs sometimes. And when that happens, we're going to be very happy with the results that we see. Okay, let's keep going. Once again, the big downside to this, though, is that since I'm completely hands-off, game is auto-playing itself, active skills will activate whenever they are ready, essentially. And if you guys know, the Super Saiyan Gods over here, they stack basically up to the point at which they transform. So that becomes a problem. I do not have any control over when they transform. Now, with Kale and Caulifla, their transformation really makes them shine. That gives them a lot of dodge. And that's one thing I didn't mention, is that I went through and I modified all the skill orbs on all these guys, and everybody on this team has minimum level 9 dodge, so you might see some excess dodging happen, and that's all by design. That's just literally me giving my units every single possibility to succeed, where otherwise normally they'd be at a massive disadvantage. Hey guys. Okay, we're not getting any orbs here. That's not comforting. So we're eating an SA. Ooh, that did not feel good. That's the one downside to auto running, is you really have very little control over those types of situations. But once again, hands off, nothing up my sleeves. Nothing going on here. Just literally Dokkan and, well, RNGesus. RNGesus isn't my co-pilot. He's straight up a pilot at this point. So we're hoping that he's kind to us here. Okay, so we got just a base attack. We really want SAs from him, but you know, it is what it is. Dude, could you SA? I know you got a lot of crit, but SAing would be nice. Of course, he didn't take a lot of damage, so single-digit damage is a good thing to see. All right, so I'm gonna guess that they're gonna transform here. Yep. So their stacking is done, and there's not much I could do about that. And they're going to waste their active skill here, which I would have much preferred to hold on to that for a little bit longer, but, you know, whatever. Once again, I have no control over this. Now, I will be the first to admit, this is not the smartest way to go about this. But, as I said before, if you're like me and you've got a very limited schedule, it is a way to go about this. All right, so we're still taking really good single-digit damage. I want to see how much we're going to take on the int phase, and then we'll probably break and come back towards the end. So let's see what happens here. Now, they're going to wreck him out. There's really no question. Like, I think this is the last phase before we get to the Super Saiyan 3, because they are absolutely just ruining his day. All right, guys, go. I believe this is the second one now going to town. That looks like the 18 key anyway. There we go, and one more attack. There we go. I love their SA. Their SA is gorgeous. It takes forever, but it is beautiful. All right. Now we're on the Super Saiyan 3 stage, and this is the one that I was legitimately mildly concerned about. And once again, I'm hands off, and we have all tech lined up, which is bad, but not world-endingly bad. Okay, the biggest downside here is that the program is going to focus on getting the most number of orbs, whether or not it's an LR. So we are doing a lot of orb wasting here. It's not a perfect or preferable situation, but it's the situation we're dealing with.
One eternity later.
So I limited myself to 3 attempts at this, and I would consider, if I was able to do it in 3 attempts, a success. Well, unfortunately, I wasn't paying attention. My 3rd attempt just ended in success, and I wasn't able to capture the end of it. So I'm on attempt number 4, and it looks like this is the one. So let's reinitiate the... I paused it there for a moment, so we'll reinitiate the auto run. And it looks like this is actually going to be another success. So, turn 1 and turn 2 weren't great. But turn 1 and turn 2. Attempt 1 and attempt 2 weren't great, but attempt 3 and attempt 4 were fantastic. Now, I'm going to keep my hands off even during Dokkan mode. I know I probably should hit it, but honestly, I want this to be one of those where I can literally just walk away and let it do its thing. So, let's see what happens here. Okay? And, you know, as you can see by this point, they're absolutely annihilating this. So the long and the short of it is, if you're able to get through the first int rotation, past that, it's a cakewalk. So that first int rotation is really the one that makes all of the difference. So I've had 2 successful runs now, run 3 and run 4, and I've had 2 unfortunate, let's say, less than successful attempts. So far I've had a 50-50 success ratio, which for an auto run of this magnitude really ain't bad. Now, I'm really curious if I could auto run this for all 6,000, but 5,500 gets you the Dragonstones. And the anniversary is upcoming, so there you guys go. You can auto run this burst mode. And honestly, this is almost identical to the settings that I've done just about every single time. So there you guys go. Like, comment, share. Let's go ahead and grab the rewards real quick. There we go. And mission success. Check this out. So we got literally everything with the exception... Ooh, what does that say? Oh, okay. Select burst mode only for Android. So I need to go do it with Androids now, but whatever. We'll do that later on. Literally, we got 5,500 with the time limit team, and 6,000. If I can auto run this for 5,500, 6,000 with that one setting is definitely within reach. So like, comment, share. I'll be back with more Dokkan Battle for you guys here really soon.